Welcome to Princess and Scoundrel.
I'm not going to talk the entire live stream.
How's it going, everybody? Hopefully we're doing here. Let me pull up chat, make sure we have that going. Jacob, thank you for being prompt and ready.
As always, as we've been doing, we're live streaming both on, oh my God, my voice, on Instagram and on YouTube. So if we're referencing something in chat, it's probably because it's on the other app.
We got Danny, we got Bob.
Jeremy.
Veronica
was in here.
Mary, Jeffrey. Oh, we got everybody.
Cal's here.
I was telling Sarah that I think we need a little bit of a, like the intro, like the little timer thing to, because like on our side, we're just kind of waiting for like, okay, are we good? Everything? We got everything in order? All right, let's go.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we had like a little countdown or something because we're just like, maybe. I feel like we've shortened it now, especially because we do stream it on Instagram. So if somebody joins, they don't know that like we're about to come on.
Yeah.
So something to help with that, I think, would be good.
There's Cal.
Welcome.
Welcome everybody. As Sarah said, she has lost her voice again. She tends to do that whenever it's time to have a live, I think, or like an interview. Or no, it's actually when we're on somebody else's
when we're on
show.
Somebody else's, or if I have like a very big interview that I need to do. The very, very first time that it happened, and I'm fine. Like this happens probably 2-3 times a year. It's like this for like a week and then I'm normal again. I did get sick on this one, so that's where this one came from. But the very first time it happened was before this podcast even existed. And I was given the opportunity to interview Ashley Eckstein on Thank the Maker. And like 2 days before I lost my voice, and I was like, what do I do? And you were so sweet because we knew we wanted to do this podcast, but we didn't have a set or anything. Like we were like, okay, we need to do the set. And then I got the opportunity and you were like, we're making the set now. And so in a weekend, me without a voice, we built what was our first set. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it came together.
But yeah,
sure.
for the last probably 2 days, 3 days, I've been without a voice, which I don't even know if you noticed when we were on Heroes of the Halcyons 100th episode live stream a couple days ago. I did not have a voice, but I pulled it through for that one. So it makes me laugh too when I don't have a voice because I'll default to like I either just don't talk, or if I need to say something, I'll whisper.
Yeah.
And so then everybody in the house whisper.
Well, because if somebody's whispering at you, you kind of like
you match energies.
Okay, yeah.
You have to match energies. So you're gonna.
So I'm gonna be leading it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can. This is a big task for me. But man, we've gotten a lot of new Star Wars stuff. Okay, let's go back. I'm kind of going off the rails. We typically
immediately.
We typically talk about our last episode, which we talked about our VIP tour. And
so fancy.
The thing is there was sentiment, like there was comments of people that had the same sentiment of kind of like, yeah, like the doing the ride stuff is fun, but you know, this is what I prefer to do. So I think it was a good conversation because it got people thinking like, yes, you are able to do a bunch of rides, but sometimes that's not how to best utilize the VIP tour. But yeah, there was like a lot of tips on there, like making sure to ask for like you want behind the scenes type of stuff.
I would never think to do that until now that we've done it. Because like I had a VIP tour that I booked last minute for somebody this week. And I was like, hey, whatever your wish list is, send it. I'll send it across. And they were like, here's what we're thinking. Maybe this is too ambitious. And I was like, actually, you're right on track. You're fine. You'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as like us knocking out the rides that we did, I think we were on track for like a normal pace. So it doesn't feel like we didn't get enough done or, you know, we were on average.
Yeah.
So even with us stopping and hanging out, it was good.
Batu gets us every time.
Yeah, I think most of the people in here, Batu is where you just kind of like start to wander around and like, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Whoops.
So,
Whoops.
but yeah, I mean, I think it was like I said, it was a pretty good episode. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. You know,
Yeah, if you're
let us know
curious
like if
about
you have
it.
any tips on it, on like if we were to do it next. Oh, and there was even the advice to go do a Universal VIP tour. That's for the value, it's better. So that kind of got me thinking like, okay, then do we need to do the Universal one? But I think again on that one, we really like one of the things that we called out being not so great was the kids. In our certain situation, it was
Yeah.
because of the kids. And again, the VIP tour, like you could modify it if it was kid friendly, but the Universal one, I could see that being not so great if you have kids
No,
because there's not too
absolutely
many
not.
rides that are for short kids.
Yeah. Not at
So-
Universal, at least not right now. Not until Epic Universe opens. And I think even then, the rides that we were seeing that got, and we could talk about that. How to Train Your Dragon, that area of the park, they released details for that. That stuff didn't look kid friendly except for the live show.
Yeah,
Like there's a roller coaster. There's that one crazy ride where you can like,
you race.
no, not the racing one. The one where you're like up on the big dragons, like the wooden dragons,
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like
the-
you're moving around, but then people can individually
Yeah,
spin
yeah.
too. You can't do that as a kid, as a little kid.
Yeah, you probably don't have the weight.
So I'm curious how that will all play out. But yeah, I've never booked a tour for Universal Orlando, but Universal Hollywood, they've got like a really good VIP tour.
I mean, I
They
guess
feed
because
you
you're
and they-
doing the backstage stuff too. That's where it's really really cool. So we got Jeffrey says, I've never done a Disney VIP tour and haven't seen the episode yet. I've done the Universal VIP tour Hollywood twice. So Jeffrey's a Hollywood VIP.
I've heard those are really good because they do feed you and you kind of have a lounge that you can go to. Whereas Disney, it was very strange to me that like the backstage stuff for Disney, like where they pick you up and drop you off, there is no dedicated like
VIP.
place for
Yeah.
VIP. And like if there's no parking, sorry, go somewhere else and make the guests walk. Like it was very strange.
Well, because it's like it's just truly behind the scenes. Tim says, if you're a pin collector, mention it to the Plaid Vest because they might be able to get you cool ones. So that's a good tip too.
That is a good tip. I'm so glad we have not gotten into pin collecting because look at the helmets behind you.
I know. But yeah, like I said, it was a pretty good episode. It was fun to experience it and then the debrief afterwards. Because
Yeah.
that was like one of the things that we wanted to talk about it like immediately after, but we're like, no, let's wait because we'll talk about it on the episode.
The other thing is Disney's actually changed their VIP policies. Like since we released that episode,
Oh yeah.
they've changed their policies. So I thought this was really interesting, and it's not something we would talk about on a full episode. But it used to be that there were like 2 spots in each park that you could meet, either at the front of the park or at one of the restaurants, and they had a designated area. Where we had our pickup was in. You move your helmet so we can have drinks. Was at Tiffin's. That's where we got picked up at the beginning of March. The one that I just booked, they will no longer allow you to meet at Tiffin's. They won't allow you to meet at any restaurants unless you have a dining reservation at that restaurant because the restaurants were getting mad that people were congregating. Like a group of 10 people could be congregating out there waiting, but they're not going in. So people think that the
Yeah,
restaurant's busy and it was a whole thing. And so now you really can only meet at like the front of the parks. So that was crazy.
Yeah. No, that was pretty interesting, especially because that's what we literally just did. Mm-hmm. So, but now we could get on to Star Wars news.
You wanna talk about this?
We're still the what is it, the forces of or
Seasons
Seasons
of the Force. Not Forces of Nature. That's a different thing.
so Disney's doing this kind of campaign from March to May the 4th It was the Imperial March. They started dropping merch, and then Disney's doing the Seasons of the Force, which they are bringing the Silver Sea Martini and the Fire Mustafarian
Yep.
to Disneyland. Not to Disney World, where Galactic Star Cruiser was, but to Disneyland. Again, I'm happy that someone gets to enjoy it, but it doesn't make sense. But that's fine. However, they've given a little bit more details on the recipes for these drinks.
Here's where I don't know. Okay, so one other thing is they are going to sell the Fiery Mustafarian with the option for the souvenir glass, right? The orb with the base. They're also selling the chalice, the one that looks like the stand by Crown of Corellia. That one at Star Cruiser came with the Dagobah Vimlet. They're going to sell that one with the Silver Sea Martini. So yeah,
They changed the drink because the Dagobah Vimlet maybe didn't sell as well.
Nobody wanted that drink. Everybody just bought it for the
cup.
glass. But the ingredients that they released for, I don't know about the Fiery Mustafarian because like we just never tried to replicate that. But we spent so much time on the Silver Sea Martini that when they released completely different ingredients for what's coming to Oga's, we were like, that's not my Silver Sea Martini. So that got us into playing around more with our recipe because we had come out with a copycat recipe based off of literally we just went down the ingredients list for what they had.
Being a chemist ourselves.
So rather than doing like the fresh lemon juice on the new one, it says like Minute Maid lemonade. So we're like, okay, well let's try some lemonade. I think it said like honey and it says all these other things. And so we're like, okay, well let's try. So we've been making new recipes and we're back on our martini kick.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
I feel very fancy holding a martini glass.
But yeah, they're coming to Disneyland, which again, it's, and I feel like once we start talking about it, we're gonna have some friends pop in like out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. If you say West Coast 3 times, you know he will appear.
But no, there's that, and then those BD droids, the little chicken, the little duck droids.
Yeah.
They're coming back.
Huey, Louie, and Dewey.
Yeah, they're coming back. So it's just like, come on, man. Like, bring a little bit to Disney World.
I think that's the issue is like, oh, you want to go?
Yeah, Jeffrey says, I'm tempted to go to Disneyland for the new Star Tour scenes.
That is coming to both Disneyland and Disney World. So don't fret there. We will get both. We will get it at both coasts.
And then AP says, I think I'll always be a Fuzzy Tauntaun guy. But is it like the old Fuzzy Tauntaun AP or is it the new one? Because that's
OG.
The old one was like, that really
it was
numbed
worrisome.
Yeah.
It was fun. Thank you,
The
Jacob.
Pod Chaser.
The thing is, the Pod Chaser is just an old fashioned.
It's an old fashioned, but it's.
But you drank it on Star Cruiser, so you liked it.
That was my thing. Thank you, Danny.
Danny, thank you.
We're continuing to.
We were actually almost out of gin when I was making this batch. I was like, oh dang, we need more gin.
That's the hard part. Is like when you're like mixing stuff, and you're like, okay, how does this taste? How does this taste? Like you go through it fast.
You do, absolutely. Yeah, I don't really understand why they did the drinks over at Disneyland, except that we know that Disneyland historically gets more seasonal things and they'll get things for limited amounts of time because it is a locals based park, and so they do that to get more people in the park on the daily, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if they're selling souvenir glasses, did they literally, like, were they held at port at Los Angeles and they had never made it across country?
I bet that's what it was.
Or were they in a warehouse in Orlando and they shipped them back to LA?
I bet they didn't make them across, and they're like, instead of shipping them, they'll serve the drink until
it runs out.
Until it runs out, and then it'll go out to the cast connections type of thing.
I think the good thing with this one though is like there were so many people that bought the glasses and they broke over time, or like
you'll be able to like go get it.
Yeah, you can go get them now at least. So
I wonder if it's gonna have the CSL logo on it.
I don't know which one it's going to be because is it going to be the one they had if you bought it in the Sublight Lounge or if you bought it in the gift shop? Because the chalice was
Oh yeah.
different.
But then isn't that the same one that's over on not Sublight,
Hyperspace
Hyperspace?
on the Wish. We can fast name them, but not everybody understands. Brooke, when news broke that the Sublight Lounge drinks were coming to Oga's, Brooke instantly was like, "What's going to be on the glasses?" Because if you buy them on the Disney Wish, it says Hyperspace Lounge on the bottom.
Mm.
These will probably have Star Cruiser on them or CSL.
Interesting. I wonder if somebody is gonna have in the bar one, the gift shop one, and then a hyperspace. Like,
I bet there's people in here that have that.
yeah, like all three of them.
Because there were people that there were so many Star Cruiser people on the Wish just a month ago, which is crazy. We just got off the Wish 1 month ago, off that,
Yeah.
and I still haven't shared anything.
But no, Rob, no one wants Hyperspace Lounge printed on anything.
It's okay. Like, it's fine.
That's where you have like the collectors like meticulously taking off the.
Grading them
Yeah.
like Pokemon cards. But yes, you could still buy them in the Hyperspace Lounge. They are branded differently. They look the same, but they're branded differently.
Yeah, and then like Jeffrey said, there's going to be 3 new scenes from on Star Tours. It's going to be the Purgle, something from Andor, and then Mando. Which I guess Mando, what would that be? Because Ahsoka's is the Purgle one. I can't remember Mando's. Because I feel like we saw it, but
I don't know.
But it'll be nice. It'll be nice that there's like just kind of a refresh and, see something a little bit different. I think that's one of those rides that we don't go all the time, but it's nice like just to go, just to see if there's something different. And I haven't necessarily gotten the same 3.
No,
Like, they have a good variation of them.
they want the Star Tours line to be above 10 minutes, the wait time to be above 10 minutes for a little while.
I mean, it does. Over World, it does.
At World, there's hardly ever a line though.
Yeah.
Like ever.
I think that's when we go. Like, if it's less than 10, then we'll go. But if it's more, then we're like, we'll wait.
Yep.
What else? What other Star Wars news? So, Bad Batch is coming to an end on May 4th.
May 1st.
May 1st. Yeah, that's right. And it's trucking along. We're not going to get into discussions on the episode. That's where you go to thank the maker, and they theorize and what we think and all that stuff.
But then on May 4th, what do we get?
May 4th is the new Tales of the Empire, which looks incredible. That is like, it's like the other version of the Tales of the Jedi, but this looks really good.
Can you believe that you're more excited for something than seeing Ahsoka? Like more Ahsoka?
Well, so Bears off, like so Bears, she was kind of like the first Ahsoka, like of saying like no longer a Jedi, and they're gonna be converting her over to all these like basically like Vader's assembling his team, and like that's the cool part. Like we're gonna see probably Vader in his prime, what we've always wanted to see.
Yep.
We're gonna start seeing that. So and like it was pretty like them actually showing blood coming out of her nose, like that's pretty legit right there. Like not that's not Disney-ish.
That's a good point.
So
That's a very good point.
They're going a little bit darker on that. Seeing blood.
Blood.
Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, that one. I want
So
to go
AP's
rewatch
looking
that.
for a local theater that's going to show all the 9 movies, all 9 movies on May 4th.
I couldn't sit there that long.
I could. Man, that'd be like a break. Like, all right, I'm taking the time off, and I'm just going. Just like sit and watch all the movies.
I think it's just sitting for that long. That's a lot. It's a lot of sitting.
I think the hard part for me would be afterwards because I'd probably be eating junk food the entire time.
So do you want to talk about that, because we actually did go to the movies recently
Yeah.
for the first time in quite some time to go see a Star Wars adjacent movie.
All right. So yeah. So like Sarah was saying, we went to the movies. We went out in the real world, watch a movie, and we went to go watch Dune 2. So again, we don't get into the like reviews of movies and stuff like that. But for me, I'm watching Dune, and it was very much like a happy accident because I just put the movie on in the morning, like drop the kids off to school, and I'm off. Like let's just watch. I was watching Dune 1,
Yeah.
and they were like, hey, like there's a Dune 2 at 11. Let's take a lunch break and go over there and watch the second one. So it was like a full recap. Like we got to watch the first one, go into the second one, and it was great because I remembered everything. But as I'm watching it, there's similarities to Star Wars. The hard part for me was to think of it as Star Wars pulling from Dune and not Dune pulling from Star Wars, and the similarities. So it's like things that were there. What did Star Wars pull, and how did they how did George Lucas change these things or whatever? And again, afterwards, after the second one, again, I don't know how close it is to the books, but there's similarities to it, and there's like parallels, but it doesn't feel the same. There's just like the whole empire, the one, and like there's a lot of parallels. The spice, a lot of parallels, but there isn't anything where I'm like, oh, this feels like Star Wars. It's very much like somebody seeing Star Wars and doing a space like fan film, that it's very like there's homages to Star Wars, and it's just not Star Wars,
Almost like
So that's what it kind of feels like. It was like Star Wars was an homage to Dune.
Like the person that read Twilight and then wrote 50 Shades of Grey, kind of like loosely based on Edward and Bella. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sorry, Cal. We've got ads on our live stream. We gotta look into that.
Yeah.
Oh, Dune 3 was announced today.
Yeah. So Tori says Tori's. I'm rereading Dune, and there's a passage that mentions blue milk smell. I saw something where there's an actual reference in one of the Dune books to basically saying like Star Wars copied type of thing. So this was like
Beef.
This was before
Yeah.
the any of this, but this was like the original, the OG Star Wars. AP says, did Dune 2 not finish the classic Dune book story? Non-sequel. Again, I don't know. I didn't read the books, so you're going to have to tell me. And then Jeffrey says, Dune 2 deviated from the book at the end. So.
I will say, I stayed awake. The first time we watched Dune, I fell asleep. I am notorious for doing this. I can stay awake for the entire movie. When it gets to like the climax, like the best part, the fight, the big, exciting, loud part of the movie, my body shuts down. I get too excited. It just be like a fainting goat. And I stayed awake for all of Dune 1. Perfect. We go to Dune 2. I'm like, man, I'm crushing it. I'm awake. This is Oscar Isaac isn't even in this one, and I can stay awake for it. Amazing. The last 15 minutes of the movie.
That's when stuff got real, too.
I know. I was so mad at myself because I think I woke up and I was like, wait, who attacked what? What happened? And
And
then
like stuff is happening
you were
quick
like,
too.
yeah, and you're like, just watch it. And I was like, okay, okay. And then I was out again. And then I woke up and I was like, I am so sorry. You're going to have to regale me with this tale that I just completely fell asleep for.
So, but yeah, so we ended up going, and then because we don't go often at our theater, they have like the pods where you get unlimited popcorn and drinks, and
You
so
just get popcorn and blankets.
yeah, okay, and blanket, yeah. But it was just like you have like a
It's a pod. It's like, it's 2 seats next to each other. And then you're basically like walled off from everybody else.
yeah.
Like you have like half walls, so you can't see the people next to you.
So it was very secluded feeling, but that unlimited popcorn, I was just like nonstop.
Nonstop. Fried food. Like we've been really good about eating healthy for a few months now.
Yeah.
And so to go to the movie, we felt like we were like,
But see, but the thing that I was happy about is even though, like when we've traveled, even though we've been eating healthy, it hasn't like stopped me from indulging in those things that I actually want to eat. So, you know, we went and I ate some crappy food, and yeah, it kind of like felt crappy afterwards, but
well, you're fine.
it was fine. But yeah, the popcorn, like there's just something about movie popcorn that you have to eat it.
You have to eat it.
So
It's so good.
yeah, so
Then we're like, should we keep going back to the movies again? like old
well,
times?
no, but afterwards. So I guess because when I looked on my app, I was looking at the movies, but I was like, oh, I'll wait till like we actually get there to actually buy. Like, I don't want to buy them now and then we don't go.
Yeah.
And it was like stayed in my cart or whatever, and they gave like free passes or like
Yeah.
for next time. So we have another trip, which you're already like on
I already decided the movie.
the it was one of the trailers, but it's called Monkey Man, and it's I think written and directed by Dev Patel, which if you've ever watched, I remember him from Skins. It was like an old UK like teen show, but he was in Slumdog Millionaire. That was like I think his big break.
Yeah.
But then he's been in other things too. But yeah, I was like, man, like seeing that name, I was like, oh crap, man, like he's like grown up and making like badass movies. So
It looked really good. It's like
you check out the trailer, like Monkey Man. It looks super dope. So
it's almost like a kung fu
Bollywood type
Bollywood inspired action movie. Like it kind of looks like John Wick, inspired by Bollywood, inspired by kung fu.
yeah. But I think that's the thing is like there's like Bollywood type of action movies like that, but it's
Yeah.
like that it's taking that Bollywood feel but westernizing it a bit. So
I'm excited.
It looks
I
pretty
wanna
dope.
see it. Tim's excited for Monkey Man.
there you go.
We had never heard about it
Yeah.
until we went to the movies.
Yeah, we saw it in the preview and it looked super dope. He was in Green Knight too.
And Green
Yeah, he was in I want to say the Grand Budapest. I think that
the
was
hotel. Did we watch? I don't think I watched that.
Yeah.
So I did get sick. I was sick, as you can tell. I'm still getting over it. So we did watch a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows
Yeah.
recently. One of which was Poor Things.
Oh, you watched that?
I watched that one. The Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo. What a weird movie that was. Oh my God. I can watch some weird stuff. Okay? Like things don't really like get to me. I had to fast forward through some of that. I was like, I cannot. Like this is so uncomfortable. I cannot watch this. And like every time you came through the room, it was the weird stuff. And I was like, of course. The 2 times that there's like really weird stuff on the TV. And then
That's how it is. Like when you're watching a movie, the weird stuff, and like that's when mom comes in and
I was like, it was, and then I have to explain it to you because I'm like, I promise I'm not watching like real weird stuff. Like during the day. Like let me try to like
there's
back
kids
this
around
up.
here.
I know. I was like, oh. Roadhouse. We watched Roadhouse too.
Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. That's what it was. Thanks, Tim. Tim's got the IMDb.
We did watch
Tim
the
is the
Roadhouse.
IMDb.
Is it Roadhouse or is it the Roadhouse?
I think it's Roadhouse. It was the remake. Again, we've watched a lot of movies recently. Like it was
We've watched more movies this week than we watched in the last year.
Yeah.
Like truly.
because we watched that. We watched
Quiet on Set.
Quiet on
which, like,
Set, the documentary.
I don't really want to get too much into that because I thought Poor Things was a hard watch. That was an incredibly hard watch.
Yeah.
Like
I think as like our generation, what growing up on those Nick shows, it's a difficult watch, I guess. Like
I think
it's an awakening watch, right? Like you just kind of like it makes you realize, yeah.
It's a difficult thing to watch, but I also think it's an important thing for people to watch to realize that not all that glitters is gold.
Yeah.
And especially I think like as parents, like afterwards we had a conversation of like,
Yeah.
like you gotta keep your guards up at all times. But yeah, we watched that. I watched Poor Things. I watched half of Roadhouse. We watched like half of it one day. I think you were working out and I was cooking dinner. And we got like an open concept, so we watched like half of it and then it started getting intense. And so we turned it off. Decided to pick it up later after the kids went to bed. And then you put it on, like we put it on in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And so I just got a little too comfortable, passed out.
No,
I really liked it because it was just a movie.
It was just a movie. I think that's the thing. It wasn't anything where you're like, oh man, I have to read up on story or any. Like, it was just.
There's no agenda here. It's just like there's a bar.
He's gonna save the town.
Yeah,
he's gonna make the right decisions.
It was a simple movie. It was so fun. Post Malone was in it for like 2 seconds.
Didn't want to fight Jake Gyllenhaal, Jeffrey, especially Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. I've watched that serial. Those Star Wars drew from serial films quite a bit, especially the Closing Wall, Death Trap. Ooh, so we actually saw that trash compactor before.
Oh, really? Got a lot of people in here that usually don't come to our live streams.
Yeah,
Welcome. This is exciting. I'm so
Michaela?
sorry I sound the way I sound.
That's an effect. We put one of those sound effects on you, so you sound like that.
I wish. Turn it off, please. I'm so tired of it.
But what else? So we talked about Star Wars. Today, it was Disney announcing a lot of new stuff.
Yes, biggest one was that I don't know if people follow like the board level stuff, but there was this, I don't follow it all that closely, but there was this kind of a coup to overthrow the board.
So on this, I'm gonna give, and we've mentioned them before, but if you're like a Disney type person, I love watching this channel Disney Views.
Is that the one with
Mickey Views? Mickey
Mickey
Views. Sorry,
No, that's the one where he's
Raiden,
like
yeah.
Raiden. Is that his name?
But like
He
this
looks
dude,
like he's like a very young adult.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he still wears suits anymore, but he used to wear suits. And you were just like, oh my gosh, like you sweet baby delivering me like all this wonderful news because it's such a good and informative channel.
Like he digs deep on like all the legal stuff,
and he goes and gets like drone footage and like we could never.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of good stuff. And right before I was kind of just watching videos of just kind of catching up on this whole proxy vote and them trying to oust who was trying to oust Iger and stuff like that. But yeah, the decision was to by the shareholders to keep Iger. So they're gonna move forward and they're gonna do all these different advancements, like $60 billion of all over park advancements and stuff.
It's like parks, cruise line, like
yeah,
everything. But yeah, so they did announce a few things. So they announced. Did they announce anything, or did they just more firmly confirm things that they had hinted at before?
It's more firmly confirmed, and that's the thing. Kind of what he had mentioned before was a lot of these things that they're talking about. It's to get people excited that Disney, like it's kind of getting the stockholders excited. Like, okay, we have like a plan, and that doesn't mean that it's happening. It just means, but there was permits, or there was filings today for like the Beyond.
It's like this huge inside joke in our one of our group chats. And it came up again today, which we didn't even talk about the permits in there, but D23, the last big D23.
And well, but there's the permits, but then there was a settle with DeSantis too.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so
I know that there was one, but I don't know what it was.
I don't know the full like what the whole settlement was, but I think they're getting back on track of actually having things move forward.
Right. But yeah, we have a inside joke because it's a Star Cruiser group chat, but most of them are West Coast based. We've said West Coast now 3 times, so somebody will appear. Oh, Bad Batch Mama's over on Instagram. We miss you too, like big time. But we always joke that like Disneyland gets all the cool stuff, they get all the new stuff, and it's like, yeah, well, East Coast, what's have you ever wondered what's beyond Big Thunder?
But I think the other part of it is there's been so much just talk, even things that have come and now have taken away. A lot of people are not going to be excited for just here's an idea.
You can't be.
Yeah.
And like some of the decisions that they're making too. So let's focus a little bit on Disney World for a little bit, and then we can focus on some of the other things they announced. But they announced there were permits filed today for expanding Magic Kingdom.
Damn.
Specifically what's behind Big Thunder Mountain, which they blue sky idea'd a Villain's Land.
Yeah.
They also blue skied idea Encanto and Coco and kind of like all of that into one space. Which like don't villainize Coco.
I think that, well, no, because it's like
Dead people aren't Tragic Kingdom. Yes, Tragic Kingdom. It's just no doubt all the time.
but it's kind of like
Isley's
it's like
back
the land, not the land of the living, but
like the land of the dead. Like
yeah.
I get that. Like the underworld type.
Yeah.
But then like Encanto doesn't really belong there.
But it could give kind of that Avatar feel of like the black light. Like during the day, it's like one thing, and then at night, there's like just black light stuff.
Which
How badass would that be?
I do think that would be really cool to have it at a park like a Magic Kingdom or literally any park except Animal Kingdom because they close before the sun sets most nights. So like you can't even enjoy it. Like Coco and Encanto make sense. If you're going to do like a Land of the Dead, Coco makes sense still. Villains make sense. But all 3 of them together just feels weird. But anyway, they filed permits for that. They've also brought in some new things. Dino Sandro. You want to talk about Dino Sandro?
So Dino Sandro.
Explain what that is, because that's what we call
it. Is there was, in the interwebs, we kind of see prior Sandro performers kind of announcing, or like we see videos or images of them in a similar capacity of singing songs, but they're in the Dino Land.
The bar in Dino Land.
Yeah.
Did you know Dino Land had a bar?
I didn't.
I didn't either.
And the thing is like Dino Land, like it's kind of that, it feels like it's going away, right? They took away the ride over there. It's just kind of this empty space, and they're talking about it's gonna be an indie area. Dinosaur's gonna go, and they're gonna bring indie, or there's speculation of this, speculation of that. It's gonna be Zootopia. It's just gonna be cleared out, and the fact that they're bringing this to that area was a huge annoyance to us. Again, it's a Star Cruiser group that we're chatting with, but this would have been a great time to probably have those same performers, in Galaxy's Edge doing the exact same thing, like just in costume.
Just be Sandro. Just be regular Sandro, not Dino Sandro.
I mean, how easy would that have been? But again, I think what they're doing is to draw people to Dino Land.
People eating.
People eating.
If you know about it, Because Disney never put like an official
Yeah,
announcement out about it.
but it's eating people. We're seeing people go into the bar, which we've never heard of the bar before.
It's eating
So
Star Cruiser people. That's all it's eating.
they're getting you away from Galaxy's Edge.
That's what
So
I'm saying. Like nobody goes to nobody goes to Animal Kingdom and nobody goes to Dino. We go there because our daughter loves that ride
Yeah.
so much. But that's the only reason. Dino Land is not the best.
Jeffrey. Well, Dinoland kind of sucked. The dinosaur ride was the poor man's Indie adventure.
It is.
Yeah, it's not as dinosaurs not as fun as Indie.
So the other thing that they're doing is over at Epcot, they have Forces of Nature, which is like an acrobatic, like Cirque du Soleil type of.
Hold on. Oh yeah, so
dancing.
there was that. So they're bringing people to Epcot. Michaela says I've missed most of the Disney announcements here lately because Universal's all over my feed. All right, we're gonna get to that.
We will get to that, but yeah. So I think it's very interesting that they are bringing non-IP entertainment back into Disney after they've taken so much of it away. Star Cruiser aside, like that's an IP, but like Citizens of Hollywood, the Citizens of Main Street, like they took all of that away after the pandemic, and we're slowly starting to see things coming back.
It's people eating.
It's people eating,
Yeah.
but we need it.
Yeah.
I think they realize,
But
like,
the
we
crazy
can't
thing
just take it all away.
is Universal is preparing for Epic, and they're doing the opposite. A lot of those extra things, the actors or the performers are kind of being prepped to if they're coming to Epic,
Right.
and so Universal's going all in with Epic, and there was a question in that shareholders meeting to Bob about Epic, and they're like he gives the business
non-answer answer.
yeah, the non-answer answer that they've known about it, and they've been planning throughout the whole period, but this definitely has to have them kind of shaking in their boots, because
Has to.
regardless of them adding Tron, them adding because he's saying 10 years. So you start looking at the rides that have been added in the last 10 years. Cosmic Rewind, Tron, Ratatouille.
Frozen.
All these rides,
Rides.
they're great. Or, Galaxy's Edge. But is that going to compete necessarily with an entirely new park where it has like a whole, like all these different lands? Like, are those adjustments that they made going to be able to compete with it? And I think that's something that there's going to be kind of this, I don't know if it's going to be a changing of the guard type of feel, but more of like, hey, you got to sit up now. Mm-hmm. Like you got to try, and it's not going to just be a given that people are going to go to Disney as opposed to Universal.
Not when there's an entirely brand new park with multiple lands to explore.
I think right now the hard part is like, as soon as it opens, it's gonna be like fast or famine type of thing, or feast or famine. Like it's gonna be super busy, or it's gonna be like the one like everybody's not going because they're thinking it's gonna be busy, and so it's gonna be those weird. But going to Super Mario World, or Super Mario World in California is busy. So when they come over, East Coast, it's gonna be busy.
But the thing is like, we would have never gone to Universal Studios Hollywood had it not been for Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of people going to Universal that would have never gone had
to
it
do
not
that.
been for Epic Universe.
I mean, there's that, and I don't know. There was something we had seen, but somebody making some theory that Universal could get Pokemon or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Just because like whatever connection of
And it was going to
movies
replace Simpsons Land, right?
or something like that. But it's like those are exciting things, because they're not the typical Disney IPs. These are these IPs that it's a video game IP. So people are like, hey, I'm not a park person, but these are video, Super Mario World, Pokemon. These are game IPs that I like to play with.
But just like Star Wars,
Yeah,
Star Cruiser brought so many people to the parks that had no interest before.
Rob, unpopular opinion. I bet Epic Universe pulls guests away from Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure more than it pulls from. That is, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion. I think that is I think it's a spot on opinion actually, because for us as parents of small children, Epic looks a little bit more appealing because again, just the How to Train Your Dragon, the Super Mario World. There's, I think, just the
Harry
shows it themselves, because there's like the monster stuff is not going to be their thing, but again, that's going to pull people from, like, it's going to make Universal have to update a lot on their other parks.
It will, but if somebody is going to Disney World for a week, rather than them doing 5 to 6 park days at Disney, they're now going to take one of those days and go to Universal, or 2 of those days and go to Universal.
Epic.
To Epic, specifically. Yeah. But they're like, well, if I'm already going over here.
Because the other thing, too, is like,
it's not even,
before when you would say Universal, you would say, like, here's Universal Studios and here's Island of Adventures. Like, it was right there. So it was like, you went to Universal. Kind of the same thing when you go to Disneyland. Like, you go to Disneyland, but you also go to DCA. Like, they're you're hand in hand. Like, you have a built-in park hopper, like, that you would want to get. With Epic, I don't know if that's going to be the same kind of feel. So,
read New Hope's comment over there.
New Hope over here on Insta. Hi, I'm old. I felt like this happened in the 90s where Universal had a swing in popularity over Disney. It's cyclical, and ultimately it's healthy for the industry. I'm talking theme parks. Yes. And again, I think that's the thing is it'll get Disney to sit up and say, okay, we need to make sure we provide, or we are able to have some kind of something to reply to this Epic. And if it's a dark park, if it's something that, like, they're going to have to do something at World to respond to it. And it's just going to end up better for us. And then let me see over here on the tubes. So Rob says the reason being Universal struggles to make parks that don't have height requirements on every experience. Again, that's for us. That's why we don't go over there that often, because of the kids.
They don't have boat rides.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's great for people that are tall enough, because you're like, I'm not wasting time on
it's a
people
different demographic, yeah.
Jeffrey, Universal thinks it can siphon off days from Disney World. Disney World has traditionally tried to lock people into their park for the entire trip. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what most places do. They get you to go there, and then you want to spend the entire time there.
But you know what? Of all of the trips that I'm like,
Dad's loves Disney. I was riveted by the board battle. Are you are you being sarcastic, or was there a lot of info that you have to, like, share with us all because you were actually able to sit through it all?
But what I was going to say is a lot of the trips that I've been booking lately, like the longer trips, they're scheduling in a day to go to Universal.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
or even full Universal trips, they're scheduling in a day to go to Disney.
We did the same thing.
This last trip we went to Universal.
Scheduled a day just to kind of, like, see what's over there and fill things out. And again, it's good. It's good because if we're not spending all our time at Disney, it's kind of saying, hey, we're making a trip over here, but you don't have our full attention. And so you need to make sure you provide enough, value to what we're doing, because a lot of people are going to be considering that stuff. So
yeah. And I mean, it's not cheap to get from Universal to Disney either. It's $30 for a lift ride.
Yeah. I mean, I think those are all just because we stay on resorts, but some people don't. Like they'll stay off resort, either uh, the neighbor hotels or just like completely off
Yeah.
Airbnb it. They'll stay more centrally located between the parks, type of thing. So
If
I,
they're
I
gonna
think
do
that's
both, yeah.
yeah. I think that's that's a different thing because like if you were a resort person and now you're staying offers out the bubble.
Which we've done that too
So
this year.
like you're starting to see like, hey, you're losing people. They're pulling away a little bit more. Like, how do you get us to go back? Because you're not giving us. Well, they brought back the free parking and the magic, but that was like the whole draw. Is like, um, what is the early entry? They've kind of cinched that up a little bit better because it's
I
more.
like the way they do it. It's 30 minutes for every park.
But it's just the resort guests, not
Only
not
resort.
APs.
Yeah, no, only
So.
resort. I like Rob's comment. Disney World could rain on a lot of Epic's hype by restoring Magical Express. They wouldn't,
Ooh,
but
you
they
don't-
could. It's a lot of logistics, and they're not making any money from it.
that's the hard part. Is like how do they monetize on?
They have to monetize now.
Well, no, but the thing is like, that's the part. Is like, there was times where I think we're gonna see it go back to they're gonna have to take the hit to get people to keep, because that's what it is. Is like, they're giving you that first one free, and once that you become the source, then they could jack up the price. Right now that people are like, I could go to Universal instead. It's cheaper. I get more value. There's more thrilling rides. People are going away, so they're like, okay, well, no, like, come back over here. We'll give you this for free, or
Yeah.
we'll do this for you. We'll, give you 30 minutes extra here, before and after. So it's like, we're going to see those type of, I think, things happen.
Yeah.
So, Jeffrey, but I've seen how Six Flags Magic Mountain is full of roller coasters and thrill rides, with their Looney Tunes area full of kiddie rides. It still skews away from the families with young children. I I think with a Six Flags, Jeffrey, is they are, as far as customer service, they're not at the same level of a Disney and Universal. I think that's the big thing. That's it, like, as far as like tier wise.
They're an amusement park. They're not a theme park.
Yeah, they're not a theme park. So I think that's where there's still that little, they're not worried when these other places that have like way better rides per se are coming out with a new thrill ride type of thing. Because again, Disney and Universal are kind of closer to customer service. They're like, overall they're closer to each other as far as service.
Yeah. Said it before with the ride of rides shares. The burst the Disney bubble. It's true. Because I think there was a long time when we were not comfortable with ride sharing, with like using Lyft or Uber, and we've started shifting to it more and more because we're like, well,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was the early days of rideshare. So you're just like unsure of it.
get in somebody else's car?
Huh?
Like,
Yeah.
you want me to get,
Yeah.
like,
You
what?
get in a stranger's car?
Yeah.
But that was the early days. Yes, thank you, Jeffrey. Like, oh, no doubt, Six Flags is not in their league. The ride operators are clearly teenagers on summer jobs. So you knew exactly where I was going to. But I think it's just a different level of service. But yeah, I mean, now Disney's announcing a bunch of new kind of the blue sky, or like we're gonna start seeing this type of stuff, and as far as Star Wars, like that's kind of our main thing that we kind of pay attention to, is like what's new Star Wars stuff. But yeah, like Epic is on the radar right now. Like, it's constantly popping up. We're still trying to figure out like what the conversation, like, we want to have an episode talking about Epic, but it's like, what is is our take on it. And I think that's where we're kind of like trying to figure out, because again, our main kind of thing that we like to pay attention to is Star Wars. As of right now, Disney still has a lock on that. And because of us having young kids, Universal hasn't been the forefront of any of, our adventures. Like we've gone recently just to kind of check it out, but it hasn't got us to that point of like, oh man, like we need to make sure we come do just a Universal trip type of thing. It's more of a side quest and not that main adventure. So we're still trying to figure out like what, like when and what. Right now, honestly and truly, I know I'm gonna kind of this is, if you would have asked Steven from a year ago, I am more thinking about like the next cruise because this last cruise that we had, like it was such a great time, and it was like, as far as kind of booking it type of thing, like it was just easier. Well, I mean,
Yeah, I did it all.
no, but I'm just talking about like in general, they're just easier.
Yeah, it's easier. You just show up.
Yeah, just show up, and like they have food and entertainment, like everything's there. And so, I've been looking at like other ships and stuff like that, and like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, do I want to try that? Do I want to try like?
You mentioned this the other day.
I could see this. I could see why, like, cruising people go on cruises a lot. Like, I'm starting to see it.
I'm telling you,
but again, that first one, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic. This last one was way better. Like, I enjoyed it so much more.
And it was the same cruise.
It was the same cruise. So it was like, what variables changed? Because I have to make sure that continues. That's my thing. It's like I have to make sure it continues.
So you mentioned this the other day, and ever since then, I'm like, oh, there's this deal on this cruise. I'm trying.
Jeffrey, he's like, oh, you got the cruise bug. The repeat cruise rate is high. I had to count my previous ones. Dang, 42nd.
That's a lot. That is a lot. Now, I've booked a good amount of Jeffrey's cruises in the last year or so, but that's a lot of
and
cruises.
Rob, I got bit by the cruise bug big time. Again, that same
Easy.
thing, Rob, that's the thing, is like there's just like everything's there. And again, as a parent, like that's my main focus. Like if you ever want to get in my head, like as a parent, I could go drop the kids off and feel safe that they're having a good time, or they're just like being taken care of. I don't know if they're having a great time, but they're safe. They're being watched.
Yeah.
And I could go enjoy, enjoy myself, go be entertained, and not just having drinks, but you could go do trivia, do, whatever.
Take a nap.
Yeah. So any of that, go to poolside. Yeah. So it was like, it's moving up. It's moving up on my list of like, I like these type of things. Now I'm still not getting to the point of like, oh, I want to go here and here, here. It's more of like the idea of like, I'm getting past the point of being okay with being on the ship type of thing. Because now I've done it twice and like, okay, I'm coming. And that's the other thing is like, I've been on that ship. So I know that ship. That's like the ship that I know.
Right.
You send me on a different ship and I'm like, oh crap, like I don't know where I'm going. I have to spend a couple days just looking for stuff.
We went and we toured. Well, I don't think we talked about it on the live stream or even on on one of the episodes, but we got a chance to tour a different Disney cruise ship a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but that's the ship that we're going to be cruising on in a couple months.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice. It was kind of like we got a sneak peek at what we were about to get into. And it was nice because we were also able to get a lot of content when the ship was it was being turned over.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a bunch of people in there. So we were able to get content before we go on this cruise as well. So we can kind of talk about it and lead up to it. But yeah, I'm excited you're excited about cruises because, like, really and truly, I love Disney. Going on Icon of the Seas for a week.
I think that's probably the next one. Like if you're able to get me onto, like, this is like the universal of cruises, of just kind of like, okay, here's a different one. It's you're getting great quality too. Just go over here, uh, you know, get me on a good day, and I'm open to it. So
I'm just waiting. I propositioned you earlier. I don't know if you want me to say it out loud, but I was like, what if we just put this out there and we see what happens in the world? But I think we may become cruise people.
again, I'm
Which is so funny because we went on our first cruise and we were like, meh, it's all right.
yeah, but I think it's really looking at the variable, like what was different from the first one to the second one.
It was the people.
It was the people. So it's like, if we go on another one and we don't have people, is it going to be as fun for me? For you, I don't know, but for me, that's where it's going to be like, okay, that. But again, the other one too was like, it was raining, so this other one had great weather. So it was like, was it just that? So I don't know. I'm like taking mental notes of here's the differences that I saw to see.
Well, our next cruise, we're not going to know anybody on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna evaluate. Like if it's nobody but it's sunny, then I'm like, okay, it has to be sunny. As long as it's good weather, that's great. But yeah, that's one of the recent conversation that we've been having, that it was just kind of comical.
Don't tell me you like something. I will go and I will plan a trip around it. Like, you know me. And that's the thing, is like, we're looking at our travel right now for the year, and we're already like, what do we plan for next year? Because this year's filling up.
Yeah, no, there's again, it's a good problem, right? We're staying busy. Everybody here, you are keeping us busy. Moving around, doing things, which is fantastic. This is incredible.
It's a dream.
Incredible opportunities. Doing moshes,
which we haven't
on different coasts and stuff like that.
We haven't even talked about mosh.
Yeah.
Mosh tickets went on sale last week. We're going back to San Diego, so that one's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the same venue. I think we teased a little bit of the poster and some of the stuff last time, and Adam was in here. He got all mad.
Well, we got to do it first, so that was good. We got to be the ones. They always do the things first anyway. So, but yes, if you want to attend a mosh, we're going to San Diego, and that's going to be in July, and then we have one in Atlanta that's going to be in August, and that's near Dragon Con, San Diego Comic Con. We kind of chase the cons.
Atlanta details are coming soon. We're working on that now. So now that San Diego is up and running, and now it's really just marketing that, and it's an interesting one because this is the first time when we've had two events
At the same time,
well, or a month apart. Yeah. So we're having to shift that, and how do we have to market both of them at the same time. But we've got Atlanta details.
I think it's going to be interesting for sure, because we've typically done them more extended time, but because people want to go to them, we're kind of splitting the coasts and having more opportunities for people to go. So it's okay, here's more opportunities to see how it's going to actually.
That, and San Diego was such a successful one for us last year, and it's San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
If you do an event around San Diego Comic Con and it does well, that's a huge compliment to what it is that we do.
Yeah.
That it did so well on our first time there, and so we're of course we're gonna go back. But with Dragon Con, there were so many people that were
come on,
come to Dragon Con, and we're we don't know what this is, what we're getting into, but sure, we'll go. We want to go.
Yeah.
But, let's do this. So yeah, it's gonna be, that one's gonna be interesting, because that was the other thing, is we were talking about our travel plans, and just between Dragon Con and then some travel agency stuff that we have, I'm booking things that cannot yet be announced, that are also going on in September. There's HouseCon. There's so many things that
Next
are like,
stop, Star Wars Celebration Japan.
and then there's that one too. So it's like there's so many things that are going on that we've
Yeah.
got to plan for, and we have to plan out like
I think
far
that's
in
the crazy thing
advance.
is like you have to start planning, and especially because there's event. If it was just like us going, that's one thing. But if there's events that are attached to it, there's a lot of planning logistics that have to happen.
Right.
And
Well, like we haven't even talked about the next Star Cruiser anniversary trip.
yeah,
That one, I'm working on it. I'm actively working on it. I put a lot of work into it like today. But that's another one that we've got to.
and that one I'm interested to see how that kind of comes about because I think it went so well, and I think people are
Don't say it.
people are going to be excited for it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see everybody. So it's just more of like, okay, like how are we going to make it happen?
I know.
So,
That's
but again,
a huge fear of mine.
Yeah.
Stephen, thanks for bringing that up. I am such a people pleaser, and I think I stressed so much about this first one going well, just well, just people having a decent time, and it went above and beyond what I could have ever expected it to have been, and so now it was like, that is amazing. How do we do it again?
yeah.
And how do we do it better? Big plans. There are big plans in the works. I am working on it, but I will stress again about it for an entire year until it happens. But it's fine. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. But yeah, we've got that. But yeah, I still haven't posted about
The last one.
the cruise.
I mean, I
Here's
think
the thing.
there's
Here's the thing. I've kind of like taken a break from social media, and it's really hard to do when that is your main source of marketing for your business, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we want to talk about this in an episode or not, or it's probably just better to talk about it here. But like, as a travel agent, there are limited avenues for you to market yourself. You could go to like local fairs and markets and those types of things. You can put like ads out in the paper and do, all of those things. But like, that's never been my thing. That's more traditional marketing. It's actually what I was like trained in doing. But to me, it's more about like forming relationships and ongoing relationships with people versus like a one-off event so that they trust me and they see me as a resource. And social media is the way to do that. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about all these theme park, this news and all of these things. And so you have to keep posting. There's a whole psychology to it. But there are times when you're just like, I mentally am not up to posting about it. It all just feels too difficult. It's not difficult, but you just get this block and you're just like,
but I think
maybe tomorrow.
I think the thing is that's when, I've kind of got you to take a break.
Yeah.
That's where like I'm okay with saying just take a break.
Yeah.
Be you don't push yourself to that point. And even like today where you lost your voice and I'm like, oh, if we need to not go live today, you let me know. And you're like, no, like this is what you want. Like, but I think that's where you have to know your limitations and you just kind of like, okay, that's this is what I can do. This is what I can't do. And again, you just kind of like, well, as long as you lead it, and I'm just interject whenever I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing is anybody is just taking that time to say, you know what, I need a break.
Yeah.
And I think, again, we have friends that just like, hey, I need a break.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, like, I pop in stories pretty regularly, but I don't open the app I don't open Instagram as much. Like before, it used to be when I first started. I did like a 30-day reel challenge where I posted a reel every single day. I would batch create all of my content and I would schedule it out, and I was like super vigilant about it. And then as time went on, it was like, well, like as Star Cruiser went on, it was like, well, I'm just going to post the things that need to get posted because there was news and there was all of these things. Now that Star Cruiser's over, it's like there's tons of things I can talk about. I can talk about cruises, I can talk about VIP, I can talk about Universal, I can talk about all of these things. But sometimes you just don't want to. Sometimes you just want to like chill a little bit. And just like focus on family. And I think that's been kind of one of the things that we've been doing this year, is focusing more on like improving ourselves, improving like us, like you and me, improving like our focus on our family, and just kind of reprioritizing things. And social media is just kind of eh.
All right. Let me go back over here a little bit.
Oh my God, we're way behind.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, why is it not? So Dad loves Disney. Universal's definitely going to be part of our plans. Harry Potter is starting to draw us in anyway, and Super Mario Land will pull us in. So we got somebody going over there. Jeffrey, I had enough of a good time. I might be willing to sacrifice some hockey for it. Okay, so for Jeffrey to say that he's going to sacrifice hockey time for another cruise, come on, Jeffrey, let's go. Look, me and Jeffrey could go sit on the beach and just like, hang out.
Just relax.
We got some water. Mary, mental wellness is vital. You need to take care. Yes, Mary, I completely agree.
I think that's the other thing too, is like when you do post things, the expectation is that it does well. And if it does well, then that means that good things are going to happen for whatever the purpose is that you put it out there. Some people post for validation. Some people post for marketing for their businesses. It's different posts that have different.
And this is where I feel I am pretty fortunate, because I'm a bad content creator, that when I post things, it's literally because like, oh, that is relatable, and I just post it. Because there's times when I post things, you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're posting at like midnight at 6 o'clock. Like, there's not a rhyme or reason. I was like, I just saw it and I'm posting it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't subscribe to the, like, here, you got to do it this way.
But also for you, you're just posting for personal reasons. You're not posting for like business reasons.
Yeah.
And so it's different.
Yeah. So I think that's where I'm blissfully ignorant to, I got to do it this time at this, whatever. I'm just like, I'm thinking about it. Let me just post it.
There's like a method to all of the madness behind like all of the things that happens. And once you're in it, like it's not bad and it's doable. But like when you get out of it for a while, you're just like, it's just like anything, right? Like you get out of the habit and you're just like, I gotta floss every day. Every day.
Yeah, Jeffrey, we chilled pretty well on the beach after that photo. Yeah, that was good.
Those drinks that they had.
Oh, those like in the coconut, or not coconut,
but bamboo.
Yeah, the bamboo
Drink, or the cups. That was nice. We had we had a much better time on Castaway Cay, because we didn't even really talk about the actual cruise itself. Like our episode about the cruise was talking more about the community, but we had great weather, like beautiful weather on Castaway Cay. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but again, it's I don't think it was anything. There was nothing special as far as the cruise. It was just a cruise.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe the next cruise we talk about just cruising in general. That
how you've converted.
I've become a cruiser. Like, okay, now everybody needs to go on one. But yeah, I don't. It's more on the forefront than it was before, and yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I want to explore different cruise lines now. Like we've done Disney cruises twice. I've done the Royal Caribbean cruise, which I like. I can't. I can't talk highly
I know
enough
there's
about it.
one of the cruises, the Virgin cruises, but that's an adult only, right? So that's a, that the dad had in mind. Like I have to like come to terms with that. So,
But how fun would that be? We were actually talking about it at Easter with like my siblings.
oh, that was a super funny conversation because we were like, oh, let's go on a Virgin cruise, and so we're like, okay, mom, mom, like, can you watch the kids?
Like,
and
we
she's
were
like,
like,
oh yeah, I want to go too. Like, ugh.
We're like, no, we want you to watch the kids so we can go.
Yeah, that was a good that was funny. But yeah, no, I mean let me see, kind of go through our list since I'm leading it. Talked about the last episode.
Pull up our list.
We talked about Star Wars. Talked about the new Disney stuff. What else did we need to talk about? What other points did we need to hit?
So there was the Avatar experience that they announced at Disneyland. They re-announced.
Oh yeah, the new, or yeah.
But the thing is if you look at the concept art, it doesn't look like an actual land. It looked like people standing there looking at a screen. So it's like, is the experience going to be like a Soarin' type thing? Or what is it going to be?
Well, I mean, if it's like Soarin', then it's kind of like Flight of Passage. So I don't know.
But they were just like standing there looking up at it.
Oh.
So I was like, what is it? Is it like
Living with the Land type of thing?
Circle Vision like Canada?
Maybe it's like Living with the Land type of thing.
Maybe.
Or they just have like, it's one building where it has like a couple of different things.
Maybe. Oh yeah, they announced the May the 4th merch.
Oh yeah.
We also had lots of debates around that. It freaks me out. And apparently this is from like the old Droids cartoon, like way back in the day. But C-3PO has human eyes.
Because they move around and stuff.
But they're human eyes. They're white with pupils. They're not like his robot eyes. And
they have to be able to show.
But he's like on the magic band. Like he's just going to be like side-eyeing you for being at Oga's at 9 o'clock in the morning. Getting a Mickey bar at 10 a.m. The other thing we were going to talk about, so we were on the Heroes of the Halcyon had their 100th episode, and so we got to be part of their live stream earlier this week, which was really sweet. They had a lot of people that have had a big impact on their show.
Their firsts. That's what they were kind of.
They talked about their firsts, which 100 episodes is a lot.
Yeah.
Like we don't count ours by like.
Well, I think because the thing is they do weekly episodes.
Yeah, that too.
So they do weekly, and we were doing bi-weekly at the beginning, and then we started throwing in the lives between the two episodes. So we're probably close to that. But
Maybe.
Again, we kind of just like we do an episode and then a live, an episode and then a live. So, and then we'll take a break every once in a while.
I just like having
like because I remember like during the winter time we took a break. So
like see you guys next year. But will we even know it's our 100th episode?
Yeah, I mean I could go back and look.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if we miss it and we're like, oh no, this is 102.
We're celebrating the 100th.
Oops. There was one more thing that I wanted to talk about. Oh, the eclipse is next week.
Oh yeah,
that's what I want to talk about. So
let's hear it.
You're the one sending me all the reels about the correct glasses to wear.
I'm thinking safety as a parent. Like, don't look directly at the solar eclipse. You could look at the solar eclipse, but you have to be careful before and after. Don't be looking at the sun. You'll burn your eyeballs.
Teach everybody.
So, no, it's funny because we hadn't planned on it, on watching it, but when we were talking to our friends, Mike and Tony, they were like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna travel to Texas to come watch it. And we're like, well, we're already here in Texas. Like, should we just make that effort? Because this is not a thing that next month it's gonna happen.
Right.
So we're like, all right, let's see what we could do. And again, it's funny because our nephew was in town for Easter, and we're like, hey, you've got an apartment, right? You know, you've got a. So we just kind of invited ourselves over there.
Sorry.
And decided that we're gonna go and watch the solar eclipse from his place.
We're not on the center line. We're probably 4 hours out of it, but I think we're gonna just drive and probably get stuck in traffic on the way there.
Yeah. So hopefully we're not stuck in traffic too much. Hopefully we leave long enough or ahead of enough of it.
I hope so. I think we will.
It's not too bad, but we'll see. We'll talk about it next live.
It'll be a fun adventure to go on.
Maybe we do like stories of it
I'll
to
probably
keep us
do
ourselves
stories.
entertained because it'll be a drive.
A lot of libraries have glasses.
Oh, that's a good idea, Mary. Look, I'm gonna put that up there because if you are planning to watch it, look at it, go check out your libraries for eclipse glasses. But also, Mary,
Oh God.
make sure that they are ISO certified, so they're not. They're not
Fake.
fake ones.
Counterfeit.
Counterfeit. That's what it was.
The you've sent me multiple reels about eclipse
Because
glasses.
I'm starting to like.
Basically, if it has fine print and it has an address for where it was manufactured on the inside of the glasses, it's legit. But like Warby Parker, where we buy our glasses from, they're giving out glasses, like free glasses as well. And we're like, oh, if an eyeglass place is giving away glasses, they've got to be good. But it was 2 per household. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh. So now we got to go find like other ones to get.
Jeffrey. When I went to the one 7 years ago, traffic from Denver to Nebraska was heavy all the way the day before. Ouch.
Denver to Nebraska. How far is that?
I think that's further than,
Where we're going?
yeah.
Yeah, the forecast in Texas is cloudy too. So we're like, we're probably going to drive and not see anything.
Yeah, Cal, I live on the center line and our forecast is cloudy.
Oh, wait.
We'll see Cal over there.
Yeah, we'll see you, Cal. We'll wave in the crowd. Well, the one 7 years ago, I don't know that we had a total, like if it was total here. She ordered.
All right, so Mary ordered glasses from Space Store. They came in a moon pie box with 4 mini moon pies.
I've never had a moon pie.
Really?
What is it?
It's
Just
like a little.
marshmallow?
It's like a little treat, yeah.
It's like a s'more.
It's like the one with the swirl. That's what it reminds me of.
Ding dong?
No, it's like the chocolate one. That's chocolate cup with a swirl.
That's a ding dong.
I thought ding dongs were the long ones.
That's a Twinkie.
No, but the chocolate ones.
Swiss roll.
No. I don't know. We're gonna have to start looking at snacks.
Snacks. No. Protein only in this house. Clear skies. That's all we can hope for is clear skies on Monday.
So yes, on that. So if you are, I'm gonna kind of just put it just out there because it's just again, I don't subscribe to it. If you are doing something, make sure you like tag us. Let us know like how you're.
Oh yeah.
How you're? What are your? Are you making it an event? Or are you just kind of going outside and like looking at the solar eclipse? We need to do better because right now, guys, everybody, please, I'm asking. Please go subscribe because we're getting close to 2,000.
We are.
And it's an exciting thing because
on YouTube.
We're
getting close to YouTube.
So all the instas, go to YouTube, subscribe to Princess and Scoundrel, but it's exciting to see like the progression that we've made and you know, let's kind of make it a goal for 2024 of making it to maybe to 2024
Oh,
subscribers.
that would be so sweet.
So,
Tell your friends.
yeah, tell your friends, tell them all to like and subscribe.
Well, I think so. Here's the thing with Princess and Scoundrel, we were very intentional in that we wanted it to be able to flex to whatever we wanted it to be. There's princesses and scoundrels in Star Wars. There's princesses and scoundrels in Disney. There's princesses and scoundrels in most fairy tales, right? So we could flex. And when Star Cruiser hit, we were like, psh, done. Let's talk about this. We're obsessed. And we talked about it for a long time, but we would sprinkle in other things.
Yeah.
Star Cruiser closed, and we're like, okay, well, now we have to talk about other things. And so we're evolving. And so I think that's the other thing, too, is like it's not like, oh, no, like everything that we ever talked about is
but
gone.
no, like we were talking about that. Like, you know, we were having this conversation. It was like, it's so great that we left ourselves open to be able to have continuing conversations on basically whatever we want to talk about. We're not obligated to talk about anything specific. And we don't have that struggle of like, oh, we have to come up with something, you know, another idea that it's this. Like, it's literally like, oh, we just did this. Let's talk about that.
Talk about it.
And
that's the thing, too, is like that means that we can reach more people.
Yeah.
We're not limited to just the Star Cruiser community, which now is like a very finite amount of people. Like, it's not going to be a growing amount of people because it's over. So we can reach more people. So that's our goal for this year, is like branching out, trying new things.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do more different types of, I want to get into different types of content as well. So it's coming.
Katie, my kid's school gave a pair to every. Whoa, that's great. Jeffrey,
I may as
the
well. I'm
chocolate
making the
long
face
ones
because like
are
why
zingers.
No,
I think that's right. I don't know.
not here.
We're gonna check, Jeffrey. We're gonna confirm
check
that. Katie says moon pie is a marshmallow between two cookie graham crackers, like and coated in chocolate. Yeah. So
It's a s'more. Tell me that's not a s'more.
It's like a different order s'more. It kind of is. AP, next week's topic, Betty Bantha and the dairy industry.
Betty Bantha's actually about to come back out fairly soon. I think she's been booked for something recently.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know that you guys will see her, but behind the scenes, Betty will be working on some blue milk stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun. Here's the other thing. If we go to Tokyo, I have to bring Betty, right?
You know, the crazy thing is, and I'm going to get your blood boiling.
Don't say it.
It's just like there's so much blue milk stuff happening now, like merch and stuff. Like the Disney putting stuff out.
Oh, look, it's 10:30. It's time to end the stream.
But it's so funny because there's like so much blue milk stuff happening that Betty's got competition now. I think it's good. It means that she's gonna put out better milk.
If I had a voice right now, I would rant. It is good. It's good that blue milk is getting the recognition it deserves. That's why Betty came into existence, was to raise awareness for blue milk over green
Make sure
milk.
you go get your True Blue. Or
No.
what's that?
Don't. Poor Betty. She needs to get back out there.
That's
and
why,
fast.
yeah.
The competition's coming for her. I have to see where she's been. She's been hiding for a while. We need Betty merch.
Oh yeah, we do.
We do need Betty merch.
Probably do something like that.
Oh, Jeffrey's asking, can I book Tokyo Disney or Disney Paris? I can book Disney Paris. I don't know that I can book Tokyo. I can check. I think the issue with booking Tokyo and the Asian parks is they're not owned by Disney. And so we have to get I don't know if it's possible for us to book it or if we have to get special approval to book it. We were looking into it and I don't remember where it actually ended up. But Disneyland Paris, yes,
I gotta
I
start
can.
catching up on it because or
I
researching.
know
'Cause
somebody reached out to me today and was like, Tokyo. And I was like, oh, God,
that celebration's coming.
it's coming. It's coming.
Katie, I suggest roasting peeps. Putting
Oh, please stop talking
Peeps.
about dessert.
peeps with like a s'more. I love s'mores. I don't know about peeps, Katie. I'm gonna hold you right there because I love a s'more, and I'm not crazy about peeps. So
We do indoor s'mores.
yeah,
And we just get our skewers and our over our gas stovetop.
but we made it. We made it to the end of the episode. Like I said, make sure you like the video, subscribe. Go check out the Patreon because we are gonna be doing
Oh, we should talk about that for a second. You want to?
little different type of feel for our patrons because you're always watching us and it gets boring. I want to see you guys. So with our patrons, we're gonna do a coffee with little in the morning. We're gonna do coffee. So maybe like a little Zoom type of call. It's gonna be on our Discord, or later on we'll do like a cantina one. So for everybody could attend. But yeah, go check out our Patreon. There's more info on that, and I think that's it. I think that's it. We made it to the end. We'll see you guys later.
I'm not going to talk for 3 days now.
Check out the episode coming out next week. Until then, we'll see you later.